about halfway through the Order of the Phoenix now. What are you thinking of this one so far?
I have liked it really well.
You have?
I have. I've liked it really well and have been able to, for the most part, to understand it pretty good. Can't get all them names straight.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Can't get all them names straight, but I know who I'm talking about. But I know which one's which.
Yeah.
And Harry is just one of my favorites, and Hermione is just precious, and Ron and Mrs. Weasley and Dumbledore. I just keep running on naming them. They're all in Dumbledore's army.
So this one starts out with Harry and Dudley. They're out there,
Out
and
there, and the Dementors come.
yes, they do.
Yeah, and then poor old Dudley, they do a act on him of some kind, and they're all upset. And then one eye Moody, with that funny eye.
Moody. Yeah.
Moody. He comes in, and Tonka.
Tonks.
Yeah, that pretty girl. She's a pretty girl. Pretty girl. Anyway, they came to get Harry and get him out of there. They blamed him for that in the alley there where Dudley. And so they said he couldn't go back to school. So they was going to have a hearing. They told Harry that just answer the questions and just be still. Sometimes that's hard for some people. And so Harry was there in the hot seat. And this old judge was telling him that he had done wrong. And Dumbledore said no, that he didn't. So they had a vote of all the people that was there in the jury. Maybe three or four hands went up that he was guilty. And then the judge asked if he was the ones that thought he was not guilty to raise their hand. And just so many people, all around, just kept raising their hand. So that was good. That was it. When Harry was free then to go back to school. And that made him really, really happy.
Well, all sorts of things are going wrong at school. They get there and...
Umbridge.
Yeah.
Oh, she thinks she knows everything.
She does, doesn't she?
She thinks she's one feisty little female. Yeah. Well, she's dressed very, very mean to Harry. She told Harry that he told a lie, and Harry said he didn't. And she gave him detention, and he had to go in her office. She told him to write, "I will not lie," until it had soaked in that he wouldn't lie no more. But that's not Harry. That's not Harry. But ever what that old pen was, and right on the back of his hand. And it was just really, really gross looking. Red where he wrote on his hand, and it was deep. It was deep down in. That was mean.
That was mean.
That was very mean. That was cruel. That was cruelty. I mean, you wouldn't do that to an animal. You wouldn't do that to her. But anyway, poor old Harry, he's surviving through that. Let me think, what else did he get into next?
Well, they figured that she wasn't doing a real good job teaching about the dark arts.
Oh no, she wasn't doing good, and they wasn't happy about that. So Hermione decided that they'd form a club.
Yeah.
Form a club, and that they would do their own dark arts. And so they got together, and they said, "Well, who's going to teach us?" And Hermione said, "Harry. Harry teaches." And it kind of conflicted with the Quidditch games. And you know, Harry and Ron, they was on the team. Ron had a position, and he was just really nervous about it. And everything was going really good. And Ron Malfoy, he's trouble. And here he come and said something about Harry's parents and about Ron's parents that wasn't nice. And so Harry and Ron let into him. And his teacher, Mrs. Golly Whopper, she told at Umbridge, you know, she said, I'm over this house. I'm the boss.
She did say that.
And she said, all Harry gets is a week of detention. And Marge said, no, said that's not enough. And Miss Golligopper said, yes, it was enough. She showed Mrs. Gollyhopper that she had a letter from the ministry that she was in charge. And that's as far as no, that's not as far as I've read. Hagrid, all this time, nobody knew where Hagrid was. Poor old Hagrid, he'd been in with the Giants. I guess they must have beat the tar out of him. I'm anxious to find out so many things.
Yeah, there's
so many things that's going on.
There is lots and lots to figure out, and all sorts of shocking revelations. We figured we better go ahead and record this bit before we get into the second part, because all sorts of crazy things go on, and you'll be in shock. So,
and I'm just halfway through.
Yes, so we'll have to get to that maybe next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
So, last time we were here, we talked about the first half of the book. So, you know, after the whole situation with Mr. Weasley and the snake, Harry decided that he was going to take some occlumency lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Snape.
Was that where he looked down in there and saw that he didn't like his daddy?
Yeah, and he kind of saw some of the reasoning behind that.
That him and his daddy, when they were teenagers, they didn't get along well.
No.
Snape was mean to Harry was because of the way that his daddy, when they were growing up and boys, and he had a kind of a disagreements along with.
Well, James was a bully.
And James picked at him.
Yep.
James picked at him.
Yep, so after that, you found out what Hagrid had been keeping secret all that time.
Oh, goodness, that giant, his brother, his half-brother.
Yeah.
Had him out there in the woods. He had brought him back with him. He had went to visit his relatives. And he had brought this giant back with his half-brother.
Yeah, now, and things on the Harry Cho front have moved forward a little bit.
Yeah. Harry kind of liked her, and they kind of had a date. Harry told her that he had to meet Hermione at a certain time.
Which was not very bright.
No. And that made Cho kind of jealous. She left to crying, and that was pretty much the end of that little ordeal.
Yeah.
At that time.
So, Umbridge, she finally got hers out in the woods.
Yeah. Those two twins, they kept Umbridge
busy
shooting off their firecrackers. While Harry went. But when they got down in that Department of the Mystery, they were in a mess.
They were.
They were just simply, Harry had this little round ball, right?
Yeah.
The Death Eaters got Hermione and Ron, and there was so many of them, and they had them all holding, and they told Harry they were going to kill him if he didn't give Lucius Malfoy the prophecy ball. And so Harry handed it to him. And then about that time, Sirius showed up. Right out of the blue. Yeah, and Sirius, during the conflict there, he was killed. And that broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I thought in the book it didn't show it as much in the movie, but I thought he was going to come back to life. You know, I thought maybe it was just a spell put on him. And in the book, it was read about. And Harry thought that he might be coming back, but he wasn't. He was gone. And then at the end,
Dumbledore.
Harry was a little peeved at Dumbledore because he thought that it was his fault. And then that elf
Creature.
now he told a lie. He just plain told Harry a lie because his godfather was there at the house. In fact, the book said he was upstairs working with Buckby.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. The whole story. All sorts of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm, it was.
Who was your favorite character in it, do you think?
Oh my. So many that I like. So many I don't like too. Well, I really, and especially from reading the book, that they talk that Dumbledore told Harry there at the end, to me, that was very touching. And another thing that happened at the end in the book, it wasn't in the movie, was when Harry and all of them got back to where they was going to stay this summer. Popeye, that one with the big eye.
Yeah.
Him and Turk and Lupin.
Yes, Mad Eye and Tonks and Lupin.
Yeah, they were all there waiting for Harry when he got off of the bus and was going to have to stay with the Dudleys. And Dumbledore had told him that the reason he had to stay there was because Mrs. Dudley was a sister to Harry's mother. He had to stay there some each year. Oh man.
All sorts of stuff going on. So, oh yeah, favorite character though, you were saying probably Dumbledore now. Of course, Harry is always number one.
Harry and Hermione.
Yeah, you said Hermione had taken over from Harry at one point.
She is. She's really smart.
Yeah.
And she's a good girl. I like her really well.
Yeah.
I like her really well, and I like Harry really well.
Yeah. You did tell me, though, that you thought that Hermione and Ron might end up together, because...
Yeah, Hermione is a smart little girl, and Ron is a little slower, and she would probably keep him straight.
Yeah, you referred to him as the dumb one.
That's right. He's not dumb at all.
So, you're thinking Hermione and Ron and Harry and Ginny at this point.
Yeah.
That's your guess?
That's my guess.
Okay.
It's just about got to be some romance in the next version.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And there's still Cho.
Yeah. Yep. And Luna. You know, it could be Luna. Yep.
Are there any more guys?
Well, there's Neville.
Oh, yeah, Neville. Neville's a fine fella.
He is a fine feller.
Yeah, we need to find him a girlfriend.
We do. Yeah. We need to
Oh,
get everybody
my.
sorted out.
Mm.
But we had better sign off. We've
Okay.
recorded a lot as it is.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, good night.